I'll bleed tonight if I am sad tonight. I don't have a job tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 15 of the Loose Lugs podcast. I'm your host, AJ, and with me as always, my co-host, Ryan.
What's up, AJ? Happy Daytona 500 week.
I know, it's finally here. I can't believe it.
I know, I can't believe it either, man. We had some good racing on this weekend, which we'll get into. I know we will, but man, this week I definitely look forward to it. I'm trying to wear a race shirt every day to work this week, so.
You know, it's been such a long off-season, a long, slow off-season, and now we finally had cars on tracks last weekend, and the hype leading up to the Clash this week, and the Xfinity Truck Series, and then capping it all off with the Daytona 500 on Sunday. This is the most exciting week in racing.
That and then you could put Memorial Day weekend as well with the Indy 500, Coke 600, and then the F1 race.
Yeah, definitely. That
as well.
And Danica running the Indy this year, too. It's going to be
a
lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. So here we go. Listen to this, AJ. So Friday, we're at work, and they're unloading the cars off the trailers, and the new Camaro comes out of William Byron. And I showed Sarah that, and she was like, holy cow, that car just looks fast. And boy, do they ever. I like what I'm seeing out of the new Chevy Camaro this week.
I think the coolest thing is it's just a navy blue version of Gordon's old Firestorm car.
Yeah, which is, me cheering for the 24 car is kind of weird. I feel, like I told Sarah, I kind of feel weird doing this, but I like the kid that's my new driver right now. Him, 2, 42, 88, 9. I like them all but the Toyota.
Yeah, and, it was cool to see the cars roll out. We had practice.
Yeah, it was, definitely.
I mean, there wasn't really any packs in practice this weekend, but that's okay, because we got our fair share of that Sunday during the Clash. We had a long ARCA race Saturday that we're going to dive into.
Very long. I do like their rule, though. We definitely, like you said, we were going to dive into that, but I definitely like that finish under green policy.
Yeah, we're going to get more into that, and, we had qualifying Sunday. It's just, I'm amped to be there next Sunday.
You mean this Sunday?
This Sunday.
6 days from now, how's that?
It's weird because this week we're putting up 2 episodes because with what happened, basically backstory to what happened. I have a friend named Adam. You've heard me talk about him on the show before, but he edits every show we put out, and this show wouldn't go without him. He does all the sound effects that come in. He cuts out all the breaks in between Ryan and I's pauses. And
delays.
He texted me Wednesday when he was editing it saying his computer blue screened on him. And that's, for someone who knows a little bit about computers, blue screen is like the worst thing you could have happen.
Kind of like the red ring of death for the Xbox 360.
Exactly. And so then he tells me that he thinks he got it fixed and should be good. Should be uploading, or should be edited by Thursday, Friday. So he texts me Friday night saying that his computer's completely screwed. He just ordered the parts to finish his desktop he was building. And this week we should have 2 episodes up. So stay tuned. The season has hit a snag in the first week. But we'll have 2 up this week for you guys. So look forward to it. You probably would have heard it by now anyway, being that this episode's going to upload after what should have been last week's episode. But here we are.
Yes, we are. And it's, technical difficulties, they do happen. Everybody understands that too, so. But yeah, like I said, man, I know you're excited to be down there or I should say up there, since you're south of Daytona, but yeah, looking forward to it, I bet.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, it's my girlfriend's first race. It's going to be me, my dad, my mom, and my girlfriend.
Oh, your mom goes to the race? I didn't know.
Yeah, this is actually her first year back, and I think
nice.
2005 was her last one.
Oh, wow.
So it's a whole family event. Yeah, it should be a great time.
It's going to be a good time.
So, man, let's dive on into this weekend that we had. Our first Gas and Go of the season.
Let's do it.
So here it is, the return of Gas and Go. Alright, so kicking things off, Ryan. We had a long ARCA race, like I said before. I mean, super long.
Yeah, was it long? Yeah, I had to work Saturday morning, so plus afterwards I went to the eye doctor and ended up getting a new I'm getting a new pair of glasses, I should say. But I was up early, and then I watching the ARCA race, and then like I said before, green flag finish no matter what. With the red flags, I kept dozing in and out of it, and then finally they get it back underway. And for the most part, it was an entertaining race. I thought it was. A couple things I didn't like. The amount of the red flags or the amount of times they ran caution laps, which is understandable. But all in all, I thought it was a very entertaining race.
You know, it was a really fun race to watch. I had fun with a couple of people on Twitter talking about the race, and it was all a bunch of laughs. Had some fun talking about it, discussing it, and it was pretty much the same consensus: is this race is run way longer than it should. There's a lot more crashes than there should be, and a lot more red flags that there should have been. But
what was it? 3 red flags?
It was 3 red flags, and it was 1 lap to go every time on the red flags. So basically, these cars, the way they're designed is when you lock bumpers, the person that you're bumping is in for a wild ride. Almost always, it seems. And for some reason, every time these cars go 3 wide at restrictor plate tracks, they tend to just cause big ones. It's weird. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the not having as much experience. I'd put it more of a test to the cars that they're running.
Yeah, it's definitely and they did have a new composite body type this year in the ARCA series too. They mentioned it during the broadcast.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about it, they're running pretty much the same body styles as the Cup series is using. And with that, you notice the first year that NASCAR, the Cup series, started running this style of car, it seemed like everybody was loose. I mean, these are guys that have been doing it for years and years and years and years in the Cup series. And when they're having trouble with it, and then I see, the ARCA guys have trouble with it, it's completely understandable. But it was just like every time they went 3 wide, it was, you're in for something entertaining to happen.
Exactly. The wreck where the guy was sliding onto the side of the car with all the sparks, somebody took a picture, and it was on, I forgot what photographer took it, but they had it posted on the NASCAR on Fox's Facebook page. And it was cool to see the sparks and the car on the side and everything like that. He walked away. The driver walked away, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't recall who the name was,
I
but
don't either.
Like you said, it's awesome to see that they can run away. They can walk away from a crash like that.
Exactly.
So in the past we've had crashes like that in the ARCA series where, drivers had to be taken by ambulance out of the track. So it's a test to these cars that they're running now, much safer. The safer barriers, what have you. It's all about the safety now, and it's great to see.
Yep. Safer barrier is one of the greatest things invented for the sport.
Safer barrier, Hans device.
Yep.
And the way these cars are designed now it's amazing what the safety has come to.
Oh, that it is. Like you said, I'm all for safety.
Yeah.
How about that final restart, though? The winner got Michael Self. He just took off like a
Michael
rocket.
Self wins the race. And I was sitting there looking on the restart. I mean, it almost looked like he had damn near a second lead going into the backstretch. And I'm like, at any point, these guys are going to catch him. They're going to catch him.
I don't think
it wasn't a second lead. I'm over-exaggerating it. But, I mean, he was far out there. I was waiting for them to start flying by him. But it seemed
Never
like
happened.
the 2 rows behind Self, they just couldn't get formed to get a draft going.
No, not at all.
And one thing you've noticed is, when there's no draft, there's no gaining on the cars in front of you. So it was awesome. Awesome race run by Self. Way to keep the car somewhat clean and to win the race. It almost looked like the end of the last year's 500.
Almost. Yeah, where it was a destruction derby.
Yeah. And you only had
Or
10
last
cars
year's
running.
Xfinity race for that matter. Yeah, last year's Xfinity race for that matter, too.
Yeah. And the last lap took over an hour to run.
Yeah, for one lap.
Someone said they went... I mean, I don't know how true this is, but they said, went out, had dinner, came back, did laundry, turned on the TV, ARCA race still on.
That's crazy.
With 1 lap to go like it was on the first red flag when they left.
That is absolutely crazy right there. When it takes an hour to run that final lap. I mean, kudos to ARCA for giving the fans what you pay for to see the green flag finishes. I personally like it. But at Daytona, maybe Talladega, these restricted plate tracks, do a minimum of 3. And if they didn't get the third one in, then call the race.
I love this finish on the green rule. I wish it was something, NASCAR was doing it. So they were kind of doing something like this where everything was good. You'd do as many chances to finish on the green as you could. Once the leader takes the white flag, next flag ends the race. But I love this race must end on the green rule. I don't care how long a race takes. This needs to be in the Cup Series, in the Xfinity Series, in the Truck Series.
I agree.
Fans pay a ton of money to sit in the stands and watch a race, and they don't do it
they don't want
to watch it and under caution.
Exactly. And they don't want to have them race to an imaginary line on the backstretch of the track. I don't like that. That's not racing. Race back to the one line that starts the race, and it ends the race.
Yeah, and is the overtime line even a thing this year?
I haven't seen anything about it. I'm sure we'll see it, hopefully during the duels on Thursday, if not the truck race Friday.
I wasn't paying I wasn't paying attention to the lines on the track, on the backstretch.
I didn't either.
And it was kind of hard, too, with that new ticker they have in the way to see what's going on.
Yeah, speaking of which, speaking of the ticker there, AJ, so we're watching the Xfinity race, and I decided to go to Twitter, my Twitter feed. There were so many people complaining about this ticker, it's not even funny. Although I did see yesterday during the clash there are some people that actually like this, because you don't have to wait till 20th to see where your driver's running. Like if you're like a David Reagan fan or anybody like that, I just threw Reagan's name out there just because he runs good at Daytona. I don't like the ticker at all. I really, really, really don't.
I just want
it takes up way too much view on your television screen.
I just want to throw in there real quick. The overtime line was
I don't
changed
know
to the start-finish line.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
All right, good. Glad we got that. Oh, sorry, Thor. My dogs are sitting right next to me, and boom, elbow. But like I said, the new ticker is absolutely terrible. I can understand if it was smaller. Instead of the names, have the driver's numbers, because if you're a fan of the sport, you know your driver's number. I mean, I understand for the casual fan, but they got to do something about it, and hopefully they do something about it Thursday for the duel.
Yeah, I saw it come up during practice, and I was like, okay, this works for practice. I'm okay with this. It gives you, the stats you need to know and all that. Then I saw it on the ARCA race, and I was like, okay, maybe they're just doing it for the ARCA series and NASCAR practice and probably qualifying. So then they did qualifying, and it was up there for qualifying. Great. But then when I saw it come out for the Clash, I was like, are you serious? This thing is still here. And people are putting up how much of the screen you're actually missing, but that's a straightaway camera, like a straight view, regular camera on the cars. It has nothing. They're not showing what you're missing when these cars go into the corners, and you're missing a whole quarter of your screen of what's going on.
Exactly. I noticed that during the ARCA race when they go into the corner with that. You're missing them. Like, if you have a guy way up against the wall, you're missing that. You're missing the guy. You're seeing the guy low, but you're missing that guy way up on the high side there.
Yeah, when we go to Atlanta and these cars run the high line, the Larson line, you're not going to be able to see what's going on.
Nope. Same with Bristol.
And my suggestion for it last night was you make it smaller, almost like the size of F1s, and you make it so that the black, you can kind of see through it a little bit. You know, almost like it's like a haze over the screen. And I think that's a way you can fix it.
I remember a few years ago, they tried something like this. Instead of in front, they tried it on the back. And it didn't work. And it was like I think it was after the duels that they went back to the scroll across the top of the screen. Like I said, I don't like it. I hope they do something about it. I hope Fox read the tweets, listen to the people. Please, NASCAR, Fox, listen to the people. Listen to the fans.
Yeah, someone put on Twitter talking about how, I wonder how long before Fox succumbs to the Twitter craze of what's going on right now. And I gotta say, these people are right. You know, I feel like this needs to change along with everybody else.
I do too.
But someone
Definitely.
put up a really good point, and I'm trying to find the tweet right now as we're talking, that all you should show is 12 positions on the ticker. You make it smaller that way, and you can make it slimmer that way. Top 3 stay on there, and then the rest of it slides through the normal order.
Maybe even 10, because there's only 40 cars running. 4 pages right there. There's 1 through 10. There's 11 through 20, so on and so on. Make it smaller like that. I get the fact that Fox wants to try something new, different. I get that, but it's taking up half the screen. You don't see the NFL when you're watching. Say you got Patriots and Cardinals. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday Night Football, you don't see the football score right in the middle of the TV in the center of your screen. No, and that's what this feels like to me. Is it's taking up way too much of the screen.
It does. It takes up
like
about
I said,
25%
on Facebook yesterday
of the screen.
Yep, and I saw on Facebook yesterday that there were some people that actually liked it. They thought it was something new. Yep, yeah, something like that,
So,
right there, like ESPN used to have.
I found the tweet of it, and there's a better picture for you, Ryan, because we're on Skype right now.
Yeah, I like that. I like it.
The tweet was from RPM Visuals, and it says, "Not a fan of at NASCAR on Fox's new leaderboard. Here's my personal take on what it should look like, while keeping a familiar theme. The concept is that positions 4 through 12 shown would cycle through the field, while 1 through 3 stayed continuously." And it slims it down by more than half of what the normal one is. That would work.
Looks like the old ESPN one. The very old ESPN one.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
I'll throw it up later on our Twitter so people can see what we're talking about. And we're getting a little off track, but this was, I think, part of your rant today, was this ticker.
Yes, it was. Yep, and then I got another rant later on, too, so. Actually, which we'll probably get into it when we discuss the Clash.
Yeah, so we're getting closer to there. Sunday before the Clash, we had Daytona 500 qualifying. Alex Bowman won the pole, and Denny Hamlin qualified second. Those 2 positions, the front row is locked for the 500. Your thoughts?
I missed the entire qualifying. Unfortunately, Sarah and I we were house hunting yesterday. We looked at a house yesterday. But we stopped off and got some lunch, and I turned on the Fox Sports Go, and Bowman was top of the charts. This was at the end of round 1. And I'm like, I'm not surprised that the 88 car is up there. The 88 car always runs good on the restrictor plates, obviously with Junior in the past. But to see Hamlin up there was kind of a shocker, though. So I think they said it was his first ever front row start at Daytona.
Yeah, it was his first
the 500
ever front row start, which was crazy because of the success that Hamlin has had in the past at Daytona.
Yeah, went in a lot of clashes, the 500.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually there for his 500 win.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, and the thing I took out of qualifying, Ryan, and I know you didn't get to see it, so you wouldn't know. Those Chevys showed some serious speed this weekend. I'm loving that new body style. I think it's going to help out a lot.
I loved it when I seen it roll off the trailer at work on Friday, like I was saying. I just, something about it, it just catches you, like, that car looks fast.
Mm-hmm. It does, and they were definitely fast this weekend, and it seemed like the Toyotas, at least in the final session, I don't know what it was, the tailwind spiked up. And it seems like the Chevys benefited from it, but as soon as the Toyotas hit it, it slowed them down. Because whereas Chevys were gaining speed on the backstretch, Toyotas were tracking more in the red on the backstretch. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out on.
Definitely. Like I said, I missed qualifying. I was gonna record it, and I'm like, man, it's just the first two spots anyway. I mean, I'll see it, and then get to watch the duels on Thursday for it.
What'd you say, Ryan? It cut it out on my end.
Oh, did it? Yeah, like I said, I unfortunately I missed it. I was going to record it, but I'm like, I'll just see when I get home. It's only the first two positions anyway. Yeah, it is the Daytona 500 pole, which, you know, it'd be nice to watch. But like I said, we were out house hunting and everything like that, and I did catch a little bit of it at Wendy's, which, like I said, he was on the pole then, so Bowman was, so.
Yeah, Bowman was really fast in the first round, and then really picked it up in the second round. And I mean, you know, I got my theories about what the restrictor plates in qualifying are, and what I think the pole award for Daytona is every year.
Biggest story of the year.
That's what I feel it is. I just feel like this isn't me conspiring.
Bubba should have been on the outside. Bubba should have been on the outside pole then.
Yeah, it just feels like every year, whoever the biggest story going into the year is, seems to get the pole for the 500.
Case in point, Return of the Three.
Exactly. Return of the Three. Danica's first start. Chase's first start. Last year, I mean, Chase and Junior on the front row. Junior's return to the sport.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
You know? I just feel like they manipulate the restrictor plates before they give them to them for qualifying. That's just me, though.
Yeah, but I think they could do that, too, because obviously with the draft, anybody can win these restrictor plate races. We've seen it in years past at other tracks like Talladega when it was Gillen and Reagan that were 1-2, and it just shows you that these guys, given with the right equipment, can be up there anytime, and it shows that these restrictor plates.
Trevor Bayne winning the 500.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, are you going to answer the question I asked last week about who's going to win the 500? Or listener answer?
Yeah, when we get to that point.
Yeah, when we get to that segment. All right,
yeah.
Cool.
That was a little random thought, Ryan.
Yeah, what did you think of the Clash, by the way?
The Clash, man. The Clash was good. I thought it was good for the first 50 laps, and then the last 25 laps it went to the whole single file snooze fest. But for the 50 laps where they were racing like it was the last lap, I mean, it was some pretty good racing, and I noticed something on these cars, and they mentioned it in qualifying, and I saw it take place in the Clash. These cars are like, it looks like they're slanted to the right.
Yeah, it does.
And I guess it's because they got more, the track bar is set way lower now that they have the adjustable track bar in the cars on restrictor plate tracks. And the speeds they're getting out of this is crazy fast for restrictor plates. But it showed that the handling of the car goes way down.
Yes, it does.
Because I can't tell you enough how much I saw Jimmy Johnson fighting the wheel of his car in the Clash. Larson.
Same with Larson.
Almost wrecking it.
Too. Mm-hmm.
You know, it just seems like you give them something to toy with, and these cars are on skates now.
It seems like it. But yeah, it's funny too because you know how Chevy and Toyota did great during qualifying yesterday, but then the duels came in and you had all three of the Penske Fords up front. Tell you what, them Fords are looking tough to beat this weekend.
You know, Penske looked really good in the clash with Brad Kay winning and all. And the funny thing with Keselowski winning was before the race, he tweeted out promising a win starting from last. And then he actually ends up doing it. But the Penske cars with 2 to go were 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And this is the biggest test you have before the 500. And to see them...
Besides the duels.
Well, the duels don't help you because it's at night. So it's different track conditions. So this is really the only true test you have for what next Sunday at the time is going to be like. And I tell you what, Penske cars look fast.
Yes, they do. And you know who else looked fast too before he got a dumb penalty was Stenhouse.
You know, Stenhouse got hosed on that call because he was forced below that line.
Yep. Speaking of which, this is my other rant of the day. I may have ranted about this in the past. Get rid of the yellow line at Daytona and Talladega. You cause more wrecks by having that stupid line in play. If Stenhouse wanted to, he could have continued straight and it wrecked out from where those guys were running at that time on back, and you'd had maybe 8 cars on the clash to finish the clash yesterday. Please get rid of the yellow line, like I said, at Daytona and Talladega. Keep it at, if you want to implement it at California, Michigan, Phoenix, yeah, anywhere else. But at Daytona and Talladega, that yellow line causes about 90% of the accidents that we do see at these restrictor plate races. AJ, quote me if I'm wrong, man.
You know, I feel like the yellow line actually helps some of these things. And I only say that because, like, the last couple laps, when people start getting aggressive, it kind of keeps them tight in there. So you have to... I mean, it's more of a cat and mouse kind of game, like chess. But I like the yellow line because it sets an out of bounds line. You know, you can't... Back in the day, you could go below it, whatever, race like that. But the problem happens when you get up into the bankings of the corners and stuff like that, where when it becomes tight and more narrow, and you have to change elevation, that's where you get your wrecks. And that's where I think the yellow line rule helps a lot.
Here's the thing, too, though. If you watch the replay, which they showed it on Race Up, too, and Casey Mears even says that Stenhouse got hosed on that.
Oh, there's no doubt he got hosed on it. He was forced way below it.
He was definitely forced. It's like if he continues straight, he's going to, Kyle's going to come across his nose. He's going to spin out, like I said, maybe take out half the field. They need to keep it with the force, and they need to look at the replay.
And the worst part is I don't think Stenhouse actually went fully under the yellow line.
No, not at all.
I mean, most of his car was below
position.
But he did advance position because he ended up passing Kyle below the line. But his right sides were on the yellow line, so he wasn't completely below it, and he was forced down there, blended back in.
I think they should do. Yeah, exactly. I think they should do something. With all the technology they got, put like a sensor on it. If your car goes, say, halfway underneath the car, if your car goes past a certain spot, then you advance your position, then yes, do the penalty. But like you said, he was forced down there. Hopefully nothing like this happens in the 500 or any races during this weekend with the yellow line coming into play like that, being forced or not forced under.
Case in point with this yellow line rule is look back to Junior. I think it was 2009 when he was a lap down, and I think Brian Vickers was a lap down, and they were up at about the first 4 or 5 rows of the field off a restart, and Vickers forces Junior below the line to stop him from being the first car a lap down, and Junior just had enough and turned him. I mean,
I remember that.
That's what you're asking for when you have guys get forced below the line and you don't do anything about it.
Exactly.
in that situation, yeah, Junior had a hot head with it, but I can't blame him for what he did to Vickers.
I can't either.
I would have probably done the same thing if that's me in there.
Oh, excuse me. But yeah, like I said, something with the yellow line, it just gets me every time I hear about it.
Yeah, and we get to this point every time we go to a restrictor plate track. We talk about the controversy behind it and whatnot about it. It's just part of the game. It's a part of why people love restrictor plate racing.
Exactly. And there's people that absolutely hate restrictor plate racing. My brother, case in point, does not like restrictor plate racing.
Yeah,
don't know why.
Your brother's wrong.
Don't know why, but but like I said though, the other than that fact yesterday, I thought the duel was a good race. Like you said, nice first 50 laps. Then the 25 lap happened, and then the whole Larson and Johnson get together with the new front end. They're thinking that it might have something with Johnson getting spun yesterday.
Yeah, 7 time turned into 7 straight crashes in the clash time.
I guess it's not on. I guess it doesn't matter because there's no points on the line.
No, there's no points. And what I was looking at in that Johnson Larson wreck this morning, actually, I was rewatching the replay of it. It seems like everything was fine with the bump.
Yeah, the first bump was fine.
It was when Kyle then hit Larson, when he was locked onto the 48's bumper, that it sent the 48 around. So it was like as soon as they hit that train, that lead car just gets squirrely and gets sent into the wall.
It does.
I mean, it's no fault to either Kyle or Johnson. It's a racing deal. It's a restrictor plate deal.
It's a race deal. Exactly. Everybody knows that going in there. It's a restrictor plate deal. So.
But how much bad luck has Johnson had in this race in the last 10 years?
I don't think he wants to run in it again next year. So.
Well, there is someone who came out and said that they think Johnson's out. I think it was Regan Smith. Said he thinks Johnson's done, or was it Marty Smith? I think it was Regan. I don't know. But someone said they don't think Johnson races next year.
I do. I think
he does
they're
too.
Crazy.
Another driver.
I think he goes on for a while.
Another driver that looked aggressive that I love was Chase.
Yeah,
man, Chase was making moves when I would see him make it, and I was like, no. Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. That worked.
Yeah, that worked. And all weekend they're talking about how crazy loose these new Chevy body styles are. And I'm seeing him make these moves going, don't wreck it, don't wreck it, don't wreck it, don't wreck it.
That Mountain Dew car was badass yesterday.
Yeah, it did look cool, and I think it's going to be on track another couple times this year, but that's a kid to watch Sunday.
Definitely a car to get to, though, once it comes out.
I think you said you wanted to get it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Ryan, one thing we noticed about the Clash Sunday was the new rule changes.
Oh, yeah.
Between the pit crews being down one guy and the ride height rule being no ride height limit. And I love both of them.
I like the ride height. The pit crew one, definitely going to get some used to. I think Sunday you're going to see so many pit strategies, it's not even funny.
It seems.
I think if you come in one pit stop, they're going to do left sides. Your next pit stop, they're going to do right sides. I don't think you're going to see a 4-tire change during the 500.
It seems like everyone is now on a level playing field on pit road. Yep. And I love it. Who wouldn't mind seeing, these lower level teams, I wouldn't say lower level with Allmendinger, but like Allmendinger coming out in the top 5, top 10. Oh. You're going to have these wild cards. Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell.
Jeffrey Earnhardt.
If he, I don't know how good Starcom's going to be this year, but if he's not too many laps down, of course. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just
I'm talking about for the 500. Though.
Oh, I mean,
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to have too many cars lap down Sunday.
No.
Unless there's
the big one.
Exactly. So I think that does it for our first Gas and Go of 2018.
Yeah, definitely.
What a fun weekend it was. I can't wait till this weekend.
This weekend's going to be even better. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It is the greatest weekend for NASCAR.
It was funny, too, because Friday we're at work, and I'm like, Sarah and I are talking, and I'm like, yeah, guess what we're doing Saturday? She's like, watching racing. And she's like, and then I'm like, what are we doing Sunday? She's like, watching racing. And then I'm like, how about Thursday? What are we going to do? She's like, you're going to be watching racing. Because she goes to bed pretty early. She may stay up for the first duel. I don't know. And then I'm like, what am I doing Friday? She's like, watching the truck race. And then I'm like, Saturday? Xfinity. And then she's like, and then we're having our party for the Daytona 500. So pretty much basically what we're doing, watching racing.
You bring up an important point of this. I wanted to say what I asked on Twitter before we started the show is what y'all think of the race weekend. William SoQ, who always responds to us, and we appreciate it every time he does, said that the new package has both great upside and great downside. The passing deep in the pack seems to be easier, but lead changes are harder to come by. Also, congrats to Michael Self. The ARCA race was quite the spectacle. Hit it right on the head.
Yes, it was.
Hit it right on the head.
And William also responded to a question I asked last week.
And we're going to get into that very shortly. But
man.
First,
I'm excited.
Let's get into what's going to be going on this week, because this is one of the busiest weeks of the year. Thursday.
Actually, it's the best week, I should say.
Thursday, you have trucks on track practicing. And
they are practicing.
Yeah, they practice Thursday. And then later on at 7 o'clock, you have the first duel. And at 9 o'clock, you have the second duel. Both are 60 laps at 150 miles. On Friday,
excuse me,
you have Xfinity, Cup, and Truck Series all on track between practices and qualifying for the Truck Series. The truck race starts at 7:30 on FS1, and I didn't mention that the duels were also on FS1. Saturday, you have final practice for the Cup Series and Xfinity Series qualifying, and at 2:30 you have the Xfinity Series race. Believe that's also on FS1?
Yeah, I do believe it's on FS1
It is
as well.
on FS1.
Let me double check real quick. So
it is on FS1.
Yep, FS1.
And at 2:30 on Sunday, you have the green flag for the Daytona 500 on Fox. So a busy week coming up.
Exactly. One of the greatest racing weekends of the year, like we mentioned earlier in the show.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
So let's get into a rather short tire rub this week. You ready for it? All right. After the clash ended yesterday, Roger Penske was interviewed and said that Ford will have a new car in 2019. So this is Ford's way of keeping up with the Chevys and the Toyotas, which we've been saying that it needed to happen for a while.
Yeah, I thought it should have happened this year too, as well. With Chevy coming out with the Camaro, I think Ford should have brought the Mustang up right now.
And I'm curious to see if they even bring out the Mustang. You would assume they would, seeing as that's the way it's going.
Exactly.
But I mean, it kind of brings back an old feel of how the Busch Series and Cup Series, Nextel Cup Series were back in the day. They both ran the same style of car. It was just a different motor inside the cars.
Yep.
So it's cool because now drivers can get acclimated to both, you know? You can now run the Xfinity race and help out for Sunday's race.
Exactly. I think it's going to, like you say, it's going to help out. Like Cole Custer, for example, would help him out.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's going to help Byron a lot this year. Being as how he's already ran the Camaro, naturally it's a different version of the Camaro, but I mean, it's still the Camaro.
Oh, I think that kid's going to run good. Look at what he did in the Truck Series last year in the Xfinity Series. I think it's going to rub right off into him in the Monster Energy Series.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. We
that's
had
my new driver
the
right there.
2018 stage links announced, and they're the same as 2017, so nothing new there.
Nothing new there. I kind of wish that some of these 500 milers, like at these mile and a halves, had a 4-stage into it or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think when they run the Coke 600, it's 4 stages.
Yeah, 4 stages at the Coke 600. Yep.
And I don't mind them breaking it up like that because it seems like the race goes by a little bit quicker.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm all right with it staying the same. Less changes, the better.
Yeah, you don't want to have too many changes.
We had Martinsville introduce $25 tickets for 17 and under. That is awesome. That's going to put rear ends in seats.
Yes, it is. You know what? I think you're going to see it. Look what happened in the first Martinsville race. See how many people are going to be in the seats then. If it's a good sell ticket wise for 17 and under, more tracks will do it.
Yeah, and a track like Martinsville, who's been needing a sellout, they're going to come close to it.
Oh yeah.
You got to make these races more affordable for the common fan. Like I said, NASCAR needs to get away from this business side, this business corporate side, and get back to its blue collar roots.
Exactly. I like we talked about it a couple, last year. It's like a family of 4 going to a race. You're spending $60 per ticket. What is that? 60 and 4 is what?
Even more for Daytona.
Plus, the food. What's that?
I said even more for Daytona. Both Daytona races.
Yeah, what is it, like 100? Yeah, because I was on Ticketmaster, or the website for Daytona. Lower bowl Daytona is like, what, $125 a ticket?
Yeah, I paid $160 to sit in the middle level.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty crazy, though. I mean, you got to think a family of 4 going down there, plus hotel, everything like that.
Yeah,
Hats off to Martinsville. Hats off to Martinsville. I kind of like to see, like, for that $25 ticket, maybe war vets, stuff like that.
Extend it out a little bit.
Yeah, extend it out, not just the 17 and under.
Yeah.
So. Imagine how many people are going to say their kids are 17 and under now. Their kids are like 19.
Yeah, what if you don't have an ID?
There you go. Where's that?
So,
Hey, I'm 17, but I got a big bushy beard.
So another track change, Texas Motor Speedway. Their grandstands are going smoke-free in 2018.
Really?
Yeah. I guess
Can you smoke in the stands at Daytona?
I don't think you can. People still do. Who's going to really stop you? But
yeah, exactly.
I guess the former policy was you couldn't smoke cigarettes or cigars in the grandstands. Now it also is prohibiting electronic cigarettes. So that's the change there.
Wow. That's crazy, because I know at MIS you can't smoke in the grandstands. That's why my brother and I, we'd always get aisle seats, because he'd be the smoker, and I'd have to go grab another beer because I run out 50 laps into the damn race.
Yeah. So that does it for our tire rub. I mean, like I said, it was short this week. Everyone's so geared up for Daytona that there's no real news going on.
Oh, I did see something that Danica's close to having the ride for Indy as well.
Did not hear that.
Yep, she says it's in place right now. They just gotta wait for the right time to make the announcement. Who do you think that ride will be with? I have my
Andretti
prediction. I agree.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be with Andretti.
Might as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it is Penske, but I don't think it is. I think it's gonna be Andretti Autosport.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team that she's had a history with in the past, so.
Exactly. Hey, how about Eric McClure?
Yeah, he got arrested. I was reading that earlier.
Yeah, pretty crazy, though.
Like I said, the rumor was that he was lapped about 3 miles into the trip to the jail.
Yep, the cops kept passing him, and he's like, hey, I can get away finally. All right. Yeah!
I'm going to get out of this.
Yeah, we that'd been a lot of fun right there, so.
Let's get into some social media, Ryan.
Yeah, social media.
Alright, we have 276 downloads on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. Not changing from what it was last week because we haven't had anything new to upload since last week.
That's right.
We are up to 112 followers on Twitter, 58 likes on Facebook, and 10 subscribers on YouTube. We got some new followers this week. Juliet Miranda at Morning Neurosis. We have John Altman Jr. at John Altman 65. We have Scene Vault at Scene Vault. Thank you all for the follow.
Thank you.
Our usual podcast shout-outs to our podcasting racing podcast family. We have the Lap Traffic Podcast at Lap Traffic PC. The PTM Racing Podcast at PTM Podcast. We have the My Opinion and Therefore Fact Podcast at MOATF Podcast. We have the Bump and Run Podcast at the BNR Podcast. We have the Final Lap Weekly at the Final Lap. We have All Turns No Breaks Podcast at Turns No Breaks. And finally, rounding it out, we said it last week that this was a new one, the Incredicast Podcast at Incredicast. So make sure you go check them out, all releasing their own great stuff.
Definitely, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts getting ready for the season, too, so...
Yeah, make sure you check them all out. They're all doing great stuff,
yeah,
and they've all been really supportive of us, so we'd like to return that favor.
For sure.
You can find us on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. Just search in the Loose Lugs Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Lugs Podcast. On Facebook, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast, and on YouTube, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast. You can find our personal Twitter accounts. Myself is at GrayGooseF150, and Ryan, if you want to go ahead and tell them yours.
Rencola88.
And that wraps up our social media for the week. I have on here, Ryan, a rant.
Yep.
Do you have another rant?
I do not have another rant. Basically, it was the Fox track, which is awful, and the yellow line, which I know they're not going to do anything with it. It's just, I don't know. I think you could see so many accidents. Oh, yeah, Mike Joy was at Mike Joy Forum, I guess. Sean, our buddy Sean, sent me a message saying that Mike Joy's at it again when it came to Chase Elliott in the 9 car. He's like, that's not Bill Elliott in there. That's Chase or something like that during one of the practices. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm not watching.
Sean gets a little wild when it comes to these races.
That he does.
So, Ryan, we're going to do a little different white flag this week. So you ready for this?
I am definitely ready for this.
Here we go. Some white flag.
Tight, keep working the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only two.
All right, being how big this week is and how much stuff's going on in 1 week, we're going to do a couple different predictions. How we normally do in the white flag, where we only pick the winner of the race, what we think is going to happen, and all that. We're going to predict a couple different things, so let's get into it. Thursday we have the dual races. Ryan, who are you picking for your first duel?
Dual 1 winner, I got Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
I'm going with the 24 of William Byron.
I'd like to see that.
Prediction for duel number 2, Ryan, who are you going with?
Chase Elliott.
Well, you're copying me there because I'm also going with Chase Elliott.
Mm-hmm. I got a feeling with what he did yesterday in the Clash, aggressive moves. I think that's what's going to take. I think it's going to take that to win the 500 too.
You know, he won it last year, and that led into me picking him again this year. It seems we get a lot of repeat winners in these qualifying races, so that's what really led to mine. He runs well at restrictor plate tracks, and I don't know. I'm just going with the 9. I have a feeling this is going to be the 9's win this year.
What, for the 500 as well?
Maybe.
Maybe. All right.
We'll keep going.
All right. Let's get the next one out there.
Who leads lap 1, Ryan, of the Daytona 500?
The 88 of Alex Bowman.
So you're going with the 88?
Yep.
I think it's going to be the 88 too. But every time I pick someone to lead the first lap, they don't.
All right.
So I'm going with the 11 this year.
There you go. Good answer.
So it just seems like that's what happens.
Man. It does.
What lap is the first caution?
End of stage 1.
I think that's... well, I don't know what lap that is. I'm going with lap 21.
Lap 21? Alright.
Yep. What lap is the first pit stop?
Lap 30. Right before the end of stage 1. I don't remember when stage 1 ended.
I want to say it was
Sure,
a 50-50 100. Or maybe it's...
Daytona 500 stage length.
Yeah, as you're looking it up,
Yep.
what lap... I'm sorry, not what lap, but will we have a big one?
Yes.
And when does it happen?
Right before the end of stage 2. And right before the white flag.
So I'm going to say yes, we have a big one. But I'm going to say it comes with 19 laps to go.
19 minutes, alright.
It's going to be right about when everyone's going to start getting racy again. That we're going to see it. And finally, Ryan, who wins the Daytona 500?
Speaking of which, AJ, I did find the stage lengths. Daytona, the 500, stage 1 is 60, 120, 200. So,
What was that again?
60, 120, 200 are the stage breaks for the 500.
Okay, so the first two were 60,
Yeah, 60, 60.
and then you had the final 80
Yep.
laps?
Yeah, 80 lap shootout.
Okay. So I was
So,
listening, I
the
thought you said
question-
200 for the final stage. I was like, what?
No.
It's a
at
400 lap
61.
race this year?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're not doing the Daytona 500. We're doing Daytona 500 laps. So, the question you asked me, who wins the Daytona 500? My answer to you is none other than the number 12 of Ryan Blaney.
Wow. Are you picking him
Blaney
because he has the same name as you?
No, that is a pretty good answer, though. I mean, it's a pretty cool name to have, I mean. But no, he showed me a lot yesterday during the clash that if he makes the right move, he's going to win the 500. My dark horse is the 24.
Well, you know, he almost won it last year.
Yes, he did.
He made a hell of a move there with like 2 to go to get up to, I think, second or whatever.
Yep, yeah, he finished second right behind Kurt.
You know, so I mean, he knows his way around the track.
Plus, with being under Penske engines, Fords have looked fast in race trim. It's gonna be fun to watch. But yeah, like I said, the 12 to victory, 24 for my dark horse.
Yep. All right.
AJ, I have a feeling on who you're going to pick to victory lane. So let's hear it.
Awesome Chase from the same place, baby. He is taking it home this weekend. I will be there for his first win. That is my driver this year. We are going with the 9-car Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet of Chase Elliott.
Who is your dark horse, or do you not have one?
My dark horse?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
You could say the field, I mean.
I think it's hard to not pick the 88 as a dark horse. I know it seems like I'm being Hendrick bias here,
Nothing wrong with that.
but the way the 88 seems to be set up on restrictor plate tracks, the way that the 88 has shown speed this weekend, Bowman doesn't seem like he's not too big for the moment.
No, not at all.
Or, not too young for the moment, I should say. Or inexperienced. I see Bowman being a definite dark horse.
I think there's something special between him and Ives that
It seems
They've
like
only
he
scratched
understands
the
Ives
surface.
better than anyone could.
what Junior did, unfortunately.
So, getting to what you keep trying to get me to say this entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
William SoQ last week responded with what his predictions were, and as we said, his championship pick was Kyle Larson. So for the Daytona 500, he kind of picked a dark horse to win it.
Very much so.
You want to tell him who he picked?
Yeah, he picked the 6 car of Trevor Bayne. I like the pick. I like what the Fords have done. Like I said, I've liked what the Fords have done down there. And I think you're going to start seeing that during the duels. But, William, that's a very, very good pick. I like it. What about you, AJ? I know like I've said, I picked Ford and Blaney.
Well, Trevor Big Time Bayne won it back in, 2011?
Yep, when they did the dual drafting.
Yep. The tandem drafting.
Yeah.
It's not a bad pick. He's had a lot of success at restrictor plate tracks. I think Bayne's a great pick. It's also a dark horse pick, but it's a great pick because dark horses win these races.
It's like the year Keselowski won at Talladega. Watching his first one, watching that race, and we were over at Tony's house, and our buddy Tony's, and we're going back and forth between that and football. And I was telling them guys, I'm like, this has a race where it's going to be one of them. Who? What? And sure as hell, Edwards flies up into the catch fence. Keselowski gets the win, and I'm like, I told you guys.
You know, I thought Junior was going to win that race. When they saw him start wrecking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how Junior's going to win this thing. But I was honestly more happier that Keselowski won that race.
I was too. Especially being from Michigan, Rochester Hills. I mean, it was cool to see. Very cool to see.
Hey, I want to throw another dark horse in here.
All right.
Jamie McMurray.
Really?
Ballsy, you know what? You ever see the moves he makes? Like, actually look at the moves he makes and wonder how'd he fit his car there?
Yeah, it restrictor plate tracks, yeah.
He scares the hell out of me at these tracks.
Yeah, he's won the 500 before, so...
Yeah. He's won the 500. He's won, races at Talladega.
Yep, excuse me.
He's seems to just make these moves that come out of nowhere, and you wonder how he doesn't wreck himself and the rest of the field. I'd see Jamie McMurray being one of my dark horses, too.
Here's an interesting question for you. Highest finishing Toyota driver.
4th.
And that would be?
Denny Hamlin.
I'll say 3rd and 78.
Now, there's a reason why, for my picks here.
All right.
Kyle seems to wreck every year in the 500.
Or he blames the tires.
Yeah, last year. I don't think Jones knows how to work the draft well enough yet.
Not yet.
I don't think Suarez knows how to work the draft well enough yet, or how to stay out of trouble.
Who gets the win out of those two? Suarez or Jones?
Jones. Yeah, I don't know. Because Suarez came on strong at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the boneheaded moves he was making early in the season, he was a completely different driver the last half of the year, where I thought he was going to get a couple wins there at the end. I think Suarez might be the better of the two drivers, to be honest with you.
I think Eric Jones is. Not to the fact that he's from Michigan, everything like that. I think the kid's got what it takes.
Ryan, last year Jones being with Furniture Row, I'm curious to see now that he's in a JGR, an actual JGR car.
And a winning car, too, by the way.
Exactly. If this changes anything. I'm going to need to take this year to decide if Jones is better than Suarez or Suarez is better than Jones. Because now they're on an even playing field.
Yep. Same car.
The 19 was winning with Edwards, and the 20 was winning with Kenseth.
Yep.
So they're both winning rides. This year is the year where you figure out who the better of the two is.
NBC asked an interesting question. Who wins first? It was Jones, Suarez, Elliott, or... No, it was Jones, Chase, Byron, Bowman. Who wins out of those four? Gets to win first. Obviously, you're picking Chase to win the 500, so that's your answer. I think it's going to be Bowman. I think Bowman's going to win. I think Bowman's taking Phoenix. But yeah, I think
we got a problem.
What's up?
My headphones just died.
Your headphones just died.
Ryan, I think we're gonna have to end this here.
Yeah, we got end this here. So AJ, I want to say this right now. Enjoy going to Daytona. Enjoy the 500, especially with the family being there. The missus with her first race, she'll have a blast. She might not hear for a couple of days, but she's gonna have fun.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how she handles it, and I'd like to apologize for those that had to experience this last minute of the show with an echo of Ryan in the background. We'll be more prepared next time. So with that being said, Ryan, I hope you have fun this weekend watching the race. I know I'm going to have fun being there.
Exactly.
I hope everyone else enjoys the race. Ryan, hit them with it.
Hey, we will see you at the track. AJ will see you guys this Sunday.
Time to drop the green flag on 2018. Have fun, everybody.